This conference will now be recorded.
All right, I think we're calling our Monterey Select Board meeting to order on September 9th at 6:02 PM with all three members of the board present here in Town Hall. The town administrator is going to join us in a bit, but he's not here at the moment. I think I see Dennis walking in, so we might be able to start with him. I don't have a great update. I don't have
The pavilion filming.
Hello.
Hey Dennis, how are you?
Evening.
So Dennis, we're gonna move the agenda around and get right into the community center funding.
Okay.
I called Tonya. And Tonya was one of the contacts from Mass Development, and I didn't hear back, but I emailed 3 people from Mass Development, and one of them emailed back and wants to set up a call.
Oh, okay.
So I figured we could maybe, I'll let you know what time it is, and if you wanna join, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The person that, I believe her name was Annabelle Corusini, she was from Mass Development, and she's the project manager for that project.
What's your name?
I believe it's Isabel Corusini.
Okay, I got in touch with Lillian Munoz.
Okay, let's see, Isabel indicated that Lillian would be the person to talk to about the additional funding.
Okay. Alright, well, I will set up a call with her and let you know when it is, and then we can really handle that.
Okay.
Were you also here for any other item
I
in
believe,
particular?
that letter, in support of the, drawdown,
Yes.
I believe Michael was gonna also be here.
We'll get right into that too. I know we just got an updated version, right, Susan?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
I don't know if it's the same one that
it's
Roger
the
printed.
same thing that I sent you guys last week. The one that Roger printed, I think he printed during the meeting or after. I'm not sure. Does it have the extra paragraph? Second meeting.
So if we'll need to get an updated version.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, let's approve it and then we'll have to sign it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
this,
very good.
that's the paragraph that is got you
Yeah.
roll. So, the only comment that I thought was like, that we needed to decide if we wanted to change anything on is Michael felt like, I'm not sure exactly how he phrased it, but essentially he wanted us to say more directly that the Concom, it's up to them to make the decision.
Mhm.
Like, they don't have to listen to the fish, do with the fish and law.
So it says something like ultimately it's the compound's decision.
I mean, I sort of feel like I did say that, and
I thought, the way I read the letter, I think that's what you get at. I think you walk a fine line.
because like, I know on the ZBA, when the lawyers are like, this is what you have to consider, I'm always like, I haven't done this 4,000 times, like, you think I don't know what are the things, they list out the various things you're supposed to consider, and I'm like, okay, I know why you're doing this, but.
But if you're new, and we have a lot of new commissioners.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't think that it hurts, and also I think that we basically did that.
Yeah, we did.
I felt we had done that.
The issuance or denial of an order of conditions is the responsibility of the Conservation Commission. I mean, not considered an eligible party, although they can submit a request, so I did feel like we had done it. I guess he felt it wasn't direct enough, but
I remember reading his email, but that's Mike. I'm not saying he's wrong.
it is your sole discretion unless an interested party appeals your decision. I mean, I feel like
I think we
pretty
have to treat them like adults, that you have to put it in there And I think the message is conveyed in the current letter.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Department of Fish and
And
Wildlife has
I
no
just don't
formal
think,
legal grounds for barring the
You can
drawdown.
put PS at the end of it, do you?
Yeah.
You know, I just,
I mean,
you
more
know,
than that, I
I
think
don't, we have to have a
say-
long-term relationship with this
Exactly.
group, and we can't,
Okay.
you know, we can agree to disagree, but we can't, you know, I think the facts and what the consultants have laid out are all, it has a good flow to it. You know, they're not stupid people.
All right, well, let's vote on the letter to the commission.
So I move to approve the letter to the Conservation Commission regarding the Lake Garfield drawdown as amended last slip.
A second motion.
Any other discussion? We'll call a vote.
Yes.
Yes, unanimous, so the motion passes. Would you please send a copy, Roger, that specifically says, please print for signatures on that
Absolutely.
particular
Yeah.
version?
I'm just gonna make sure. Never say.
I also just got an update from Roger that he's not gonna be able to make it, I think, all.
I'm
I'm not
surprised. I mean,
surprised.
it's his mother-in-law's wake.
Poor Gillian.
So,
I mean, I know she.
I know she was 92.
It doesn't matter, your mom is your mom.
I know, well, it's his wife, he should be with his wife and his family. This place will survive.
all right, so you'll send that to him for signature, we'll sign it tomorrow or whenever.
I can stop by.
The Sandisfield Road culvert replacement project got 3 bids. The bid that were being recommended by the engineering to accept was also the low bid, which is Western Earthworks.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting set of bids, wasn't it?
Well, I was quite impressed with, you know, the engineer estimate between the first and second bid was pretty close to what they said.
But
The other
it's
guy
interest-
just wanted to rob a bank.
I know, but it's also interesting that like you look at what the engineer said and then there's some are higher, some are lower.
Oh,
It's
I know,
interesting.
you can tell different people want money in different places,
Places,
or like, it's,
yeah.
I think also there's the whole number they're probably looking at and exactly what they bid on, the gravel or the
Yeah.
guardrail
Yeah,
may not be the number that they're mostly looking at as much as the.
I went on the Western Earthworks website and, you know, Massachusetts uses them. And
And the big
website
stuff
was
was Northampton, Florence. All right, well, is there a motion to award the bid to Western Earthworks?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept Western Earthworks bid for the Sandisfield Road culvert project.
I will second.
Any other discussion? We'll call a vote.
Yes.
Yes, the motion carries unanimously. And we may have something to sign, but I'm not sure if we have it with us at the moment. We'll just double check. All right, I have the bid sheet, but I don't have, if there is any, I'll have to get that later, but, moving on down. Business, transfer station attendant Paul DePreter, we'd like to hire him at a rate of $20 an hour.
I make a motion that we hire Paul DePreter to fill the transfer station vacancy.
Second.
All right,
Is it,
Any
is
other
Paul
discussion?
DePreter the community guy that was interested in it?
He lives in the
Right.
firehouse.
Okay, right.
He's a static.
Thanks.
About doing it.
let me just double check, I think, yeah, I got an email from Roger that we'd like to start him at 20 an hour. That's what, another 2 years ago, we hired someone at a similar rate, and then, you know, there's COLA each year, so it's a little bit less than the current attendants are making, but they build up COLA raises.
Told me about this in that window.
Each year, what's that?
Don't open that window, the wind in it. That's fine. Paul came by my house yesterday, he was a static.
Oh, great.
Didn't know that.
All right, is there any other discussion before we call a vote? All right, call a vote.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, and the motion passes unanimously. Hire Paul DePreter, thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
And, that now we will have our Highway 4 freed up to work a Monday to Friday schedule with highway department. Which brings us to our next couple of items, the highway department hiring update and the CDL tuition policy.
Right.
So,
I thought the CDL policy looked pretty good.
Well, I got a couple. First of all, we're not getting results. Two, I
Well,
thought,
with the hiring, yeah.
yeah, but
I meant
the CDL, but what I would do, that I think we should move to paying 100% of it. And then with the company who pays 50%. I don't know how this totally works with the, getting the license or the classes. They pay the 50%, but when they pay the second 50%, but when they pass the test, then we give them the other 50%. So, you can go, but you gotta take a test. You don't get through the test,
Yeah.
but I don't wanna be totally responsible for it. I think, I'm gonna mix up the subject, the whole thing of hiring, if you look with these other communities, they're all close. Do we come up with a hiring bonus?
I was just thinking about.
Like if you're
Ken
6 months,
suggested it the other day.
a 6 months time period, you get $1,000.
You mean to,
Yeah, if you,
hiring bonus is usually when you first come on.
well, you could do it, yeah,
Yeah.
after your 6 month anniversary,
Anniversary,
you get
right.
that.
I'm not entirely opposed, but I do think it's a little tricky, because not something that we've done for any other employees. But,
On the other hand, the
Well,
hiring market's getting worse.
well, a couple things first. So there are two people that I know that are very interested.
Really? That's
Yes.
awesome.
Neither of them have their CDL.
Hmm.
But I think both are interested in getting it and wanna basically know details.
Okay,
And I said, we're kind of working on details for this, but that said, I think if I can go back down and say, here's our CDL payment policy, and we say we're paying it 100%, that's very attractive. In New Marlboro though, cause I got the policy from Maury, they're expected to work 3 years for the town.
Which is what it says in there.
Oh, is that the
Yeah.
current one in Monterey?
Oh, I don't know if it's the
No.
current one, but that's the
No.
one he drafted.
Yeah, that Roger
Yeah,
drafted.
yeah.
Yeah, we used to do more, like 1 or 2 years, but I think if you're paying half of it, 1 or 2 years makes more sense. If we're paying the full thing, I do think that 3 years.
I don't have
Makes
a
sense.
problem, I don't have a problem with that.
I also didn't know if we should mention a raise, a specific raise, like, cause if we hire the two people that I know don't have a ton of experience and aren't licensed. So maybe we bring them on and not, even if it's not these specific people, if we
Right.
find people that are interested and don't have a lot of experience, bring them on at the low end of the range, like 26. Cause I think the range we advertised was 26 to 28.
I think it's as high as 26, isn't it? Or
I'd
sorry,
have to
I don't
pull
know.
it.
I think it was 26 to 28. We just said, we'll bring you on at 26, if you successfully get your CDL, first of all, we'll pay for the whole thing. And then we'll give you a $1 or $2 an hour raise to bring you up towards that higher end of the range. But you're also now signed up for 3 years, so we don't have the turnover issue.
Right, I like what you're talking about.
Me too.
Cause I felt like when I talked to Roger the other day, you almost need like an apprentice program, because there's a hydraulic training. It's not only the CDL is the most urgent, because it's snowplow, but there's others, and I don't know more, but we can resolve.
I think it's, the big ones are the CDL, which actually takes a ton of time, and the tuition is significant.
Yeah.
And then the hoisting and hydraulics, I believe, are much less significant,
Yeah, right.
and less money, less time. Not that they're not important, but
They're useful, but they're not as big a deal.
we could also maybe combine them. So in New Marlboro, it includes all the special licenses.
Their request.
Their
It includes-
policy.
Okay, so you can get that tuition for any special license?
Yes, it is
Can you send me
also,
that?
yeah,
Yeah, send it to both of
the
us.
thing is only one, because they're a union, in New
Yeah.
Marlboro it is
Ah.
worded a bit differently, but
Okay.
one bargaining unit member is eligible for, a certain certain benefit down here.
right,
But I do think in Monterey, in our current situation, if we can find people on, hire them at maybe the lower end of the range because they don't have experience or licenses, but then help them get those things and get a 3-year commitment out of them, I feel like we'd be doing good.
do you have any idea how long the CDL training is?
I think it's a few months.
It's a few months and then there's.
It'd be tricky to get it in time for the winter plow season.
No, but you could plow, so there's only
Plow with a
two,
littler truck.
You can fly up to 550. They changed the rules about that a few years ago.
so, and I think our superintendent, one way or another, will probably have his CDL. And,
I hope so.
yeah, so, and then we would have 2 CDL for the 2
People, right, for the 2 trucks.
trucks. If the superintendent's out on. Or we could, out of these 2 positions, hopefully find 1 CDL.
Interesting.
At New Marlboro, were they fully staffed in there?
No, I don't think so.
Someone told me the other night.
I don't.
They've been one person
I
short
thought,
for
is it
a few years.
Otis and Sandisfield or Otis and New Marlboro that are both looking besides us?
Well, I think New Marlboro's never really been full, but they also have a large department, like I think
Well, they
6
got
or
more.
7.
Right,
Yeah,
but
they got
someone,
more-
they
they
were
got more
advertising in
miles.
the shoppers guide, that's
They
why I
have
asked.
a lot more miles than we do.
Right.
But they're all, they're union now too, so that impacts things. I think, like, when they bring people on now, they've negotiated a union contract, they don't even have, they're not stuck with these kinds of questions because it is what it is almost, unless they renegotiate.
So, what we're summarizing is that we need Roger to draft a document that shows we will pay 100% of CDL driving, the CDL license, and that in return, they're committing to a 3-year obligation. of Employment, or it has to be broken down.
So basically, I think the one he sent us, the change would basically be we'll reimburse 100% of the total cost instead of 50% of the total cost. And he drafted this.
Yeah, no, I wrote that.
And the other change you're suggesting is to say that, let's see, it says somewhere,
Well,
it does say under other provisions, failure to pass the license requirement does not obligate the town to reimburse costs, because we're actually not fronting the money, we're reimbursing the money.
I
Yeah, but
think
I
that
think
could be hard, particularly the young
That's what I was
person.
just saying, I don't think they're gonna
we have
have
to
money.
pay for it, I mean,
So we have to
$26
alter it.
an hour, what is the training, it's like $1,400?
Oh, no, I think it's a few thousand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you can't expect them to put that up for.
okay, this is just AI, but it says it ranges from 4 to 12,000.
This one says 3 to 8.
So, and I think it depends if you're getting your A or B or whatnot, but,
3 to 10, it depends on who you listen to, and yeah, it probably depends which level A or
We've
B.
done it before, but I can't recall what the numbers are.
So one issue is we think it should be 100%.
Right.
Issue 2 is we think instead of reimbursing, we may need to pay for it out front.
Right,
as long as we can figure out if they don't pass it, we're not on the hook for paying. for the whole
That's what I
class.
was just gonna say, I mean, I would be inclined to say like, if they have money in the game, at least some money, there's more incentive, I think, like, they want the license, I get that. But, I see your point, they may not have the money, I'm
They
just
don't
trying
have,
to,
they're not
right, then they're not gonna do it, but I'm just trying to figure out, there's really no way to get the money back.
well, there is a risk, but there's a risk that we're gonna sit here and
Not get anybody, I'm with you, I'm like, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to navigate the thing, but do we have the, whatever K? Can we
So,
think we can find it in the
there's
budget?
different places, and I asked Roger about this. We may, if we end up in a situation where we're sending 2 people for CDL, we probably would have to go to the the finance committee for reserve fund transfer,
Yeah,
which I think is entirely appropriate.
It was
No, it's good to know, no employee.
I
So,
think we could definitely argue it
Does
was
the
an
finance committee
unforeseen
wants to
cost.
start driving to that
Right.
550?
yeah, Mickey,
Couldn't that come out of the pay that we're not paying because we don't have any guys
It
working on the?
could.
It depends on how long that's.
Like, there's actual amount of money probably will be there, I'm just thinking the name of the account and it, like, Ryder told me there's
Oh.
money in property services, right? And I said,
Right.
it's definitely a property service.
Can we take it out of snow?
It's, look, I think one way or another,
Money.
we'll make it happen.
You just have to figure out which one which pocket's gonna take it out of.
So I'm not too uber worried about that this particular year, but I do think that we need to set the policy up in such a way that we're not always going to the reserve fund when someone,
Right,
I
well, we
mean,
may have to put, we have it, wasn't there a training line? I thought there was a training.
there is, but I think it's already kind of set aside for OSHA. I think what may happen is in the policy we have to put somewhere,
Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
For future years, if we think this is going to be an issue, we could change that training line to include money for one or more of these, if we suspect somebody that we have is going to need it. It's tricky if you don't think you're going to need it, right? But if you know you have an open slot, you could put money aside for it. If you know you have someone that's expressed interest in another type of training, you could put money aside for it. That won't work this.
I think what we're gonna have to do is say, after approval by the superintendent and town administrator, because we might have a year where we have 3 CDL drivers,
Right,
and 4 wants to go and get his, and it would kind of benefit us, but maybe we already
right.
use that money. So New Marlboro has a similar thing, where it's, you have to get approval, and maybe we set aside money for one tuition each year, and we don't
Right.
always use it, but it's there.
So the highway superintendent with approval of the select board must authorize participation in advance, is eligibility.
Is that in?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it looks like, so far to me, it looks like basically the thing we'd have to change is we'll, instead of reimburse 50%, we'll pay 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other question you brought up, Susan, getting stuck with the bill, is that their final check,
Right,
and I don't know if we should put something in there, I don't,
so it has if an employee voluntarily resigns or is terminated for cause before completing a 3-year commitment, they must reimburse the town for the prorated portion of the town's contribution based on the time remaining in the agreement. Reimbursement schedule, 100% repayment if separation occurs within the first year, 66% repayment if separation occurs within the second year, 33% repayment if separation occurs within the third year, no repayment required after completion of the 3-year commitment. So that.
but we could put in there that their final check could be garnished to, if they were to, if it
I think it says that.
doesn't.
Maybe it's New Marlboro's.
I think you have to tell them, we could ask.
It doesn't actually specifically say, we could put,
Yeah, I think
under
we could
commitment
ask,
agreement after an employee
Donna,
voluntarily resigns.
what the,
Um,
how that should read.
Yeah, so that last sentence could read, the employees, and an employee that resigns may have the
At the direction of the select
director of
board,
the select
select board.
may have their wages
Is
garnished,
I,
for repayment of this debt.
I've seen that exact language, I'm just trying to remember where.
In his policy or somewhere else? I
This
didn't
one
see it
thing.
in here.
Figure out. A bargain, New Marlboro says it, in the event a member leaves employment with the town prior to the expiration of said time period, the amount paid by the town towards the license shall be deducted from the member's final paycheck on a prorated basis.
Well, that's.
If the final paycheck is insufficient to cover said amount, then the member shall make payment for the remaining amount no later than 30 days after separation from employment. And obviously, if you don't get $1,000, we might decide it's not worth the legal bills,
Right.
because we'll spend more money than we get.
Yeah.
But if it's.
So we just have to make that
But if
call.
it's 7 of the 8 or whatever, yeah,
We can borrow that paragraph.
it's pretty good.
The
wording.
other last thing I wanna,
Is what
figure out
they
is-
fail the test.
well, what do they do if they fail the test? They also need to maintain it. throughout the duration of those 3
Right,
years.
that's a really good point.
What, do they have retesting, or, I mean, you do drug
If
tests.
you lose your license, right, or if you get certain violations, it can be suspended or revoked,
Okay.
right? So they need to maintain
Okay.
their
that's
license.
right.
And then,
So in this, like the way this was worded, we paid 50% and they paid 50%. And failure to pass the licensing requirements does not obligate the town to reimburse costs already paid by the employee. So basically, it's just saying we won't, if you fail, we're not giving you, we're not reimbursing you, but that's because the employee was fronting the money. But if we are, and I believe correctly, saying that we need to front the money, because most of the applicants wouldn't have money to start with, which I think is probably true, then we need to figure out what we do if they fail.
and we're not reinventing the wheel, I'm sure.
No.
So I think,
I think we did that.
we can express that sentiment to Roger, and then he can come back next week with a final
Version.
version.
Do you want
I have one more thing.
Go.
Which is what happens when they have to leave, there's classes during work, and I think my way of tackling it would be that they get paid. Like, the way that it is now is it's just up to the highway superintendent.
Time spent attending training or testing may be covered as paid work time only if approved in advance by the highway superintendent.
I think it should be, if it's during work hours, then it's
Right.
paid.
I agree
Right.
with that.
I think what that's implying is that you can't just do it and expect to get paid, you have to
Yeah,
make sure it's
maybe
approved,
that's
which
fine.
is fair.
Yeah, you have to come in and say.
But we can rephrase it more directly.
Well, no, I'm not gonna worry about it, that's actually better than I remember.
I mean, you have to get pre-approval anyway, but also if you're gonna be missing work to go there, it's not like your boss doesn't need to know you won't be there.
Well, if we're also coordinating and there's different schedules, the superintendent could say, I need you to go to this.
Right,
That way you're only off on Mondays or something, and like, whatever it is, or leave early and then pay. So you get your 8 hours.
Right.
Alright, I like it. Well, what we're gonna say is we wanna pay 100%. Right, 50% up front. Well, ideally 50% up front, 50% when they pass the test. We would like to put the money forward rather than reimburse the employee, but only as long as we're protected in the case that they don't pass.
Right.
We want to get some kind of protection to the town, especially if they fail the test. And then we need to make sure that they maintain the license throughout their 3-year commitment.
Mhm.
And if they don't, it should be the same penalty as though,
Yeah, as the separation.
as.
and the garnish.
Yeah, garnish wage from the Marlboro. We'll borrow that. Odds are, if it's within the first year, one paycheck is not gonna have the amount, even if it's with vacation time.
Yeah,
But
But if they built up vacation time and it's 3 years and they only owe it might.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll have to come back to approve that, but I would say as far as the hiring, now that we kind of have some concrete details, even if not an approved policy, we gotta find out what we're advertising this for, cause
I don't have a copy of it with me, and I
Yeah.
think it was 26 or 28, but
the what?
I don't have a copy of the
Oh,
shopper's guide.
it's
And
on the website.
Our website.
It's one of the not harder to
There were
find
three,
pages, but
there were
harder.
2 other towns advertising. I know one was Otis, and now I can't, maybe it was Sandisfield.
Egremont have a lot of positions.
Oh, maybe it was Egremont.
I don't know, I didn't look at the most recent shopper's guide, but they've got a few. They're not called job openings, what are they called? Town,
Employment
employment
opportunities?
opportunities. That's not really doing it for me.
You can't find it.
I know it's somewhere, and it's not one that I visit all the
I
time.
hate that. An application? And a job description?
I just, oh, yeah. Only because I would like to go back to these couple of people and say, let's bring you in for an interview, and if, probably with Pete and Roger, and
Does Roger need help setting up an interview, guy?
you want to do that.
I could do it with them, I'm gonna meet with them Thursday morning. That's morning, I talked to him a little bit yesterday. We're gonna set some time aside on Thursday to talk more.
I'm trying to find it, I'm not finding it.
Do you know what?
I even tried searching and put an application and nothing came up. It's not in under administrative. The highway. Reports.
Okay. I found it.
Where was it?
I looked it up on the internet, but it's 26 to 28.
How did you find it on the internet?
I looked up Monterey MA Highway 3.
Okay.
And I think if we were to bring people on without their CDL hoisting, we could bring them on at 26 and say that you get all those things, you 28.
I guess the only concern is whether one of the other towns is paying more. But I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I thought that they.
I think a lot of those high 20s, like 30s, though, they really are expecting your CDL.
Yeah.
And are probably in the same boat if you're labor.
Right.
I don't really think laborers are $30
No,
an
I
hour.
agree.
So, I don't know how other towns are dealing with,
The shortage of CDL qualified people.
so.
And I looked up on the Berkshire Eagle, and first thing is, the town of Richmond's looking for help too.
And what rate?
29 starting pay.
For a laborer?
It's a equipment operator labor, 40 hours per week, overtime is required, high school diploma, starting pay $29 an hour.
For labor.
Doesn't say,
It says
but there are
equipment
also,
operator, so-
that they may say like a valid Class B commercial CDL
They said,
and a Massachusetts 2A hosting operator's license are required. So
Does
that's
it say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's, so technically it's not
26
labor.
26 is,
Yeah.
Fair. It's a fair price.
and then bump them up to 28,
Yeah. so-
when they get licenses.
That's right. So, I mean, I feel like we're all doing the right thing.
Competitive, yeah.
Yeah, we're competitive, but they,
All right, I think that, well, that's very helpful to have some,
and
Some
then
stuff.
West
Yeah.
Stockbridge is looking for a superintendent.
oh yeah, for how much?
But, it does not say.
One thing I wondered about doing if we do have trouble, well, that's.
They have to have 7 years of public works or construction experience. And then you have to have the CDL, hoisting and all that.
We have someone in this room with 7 years of construction experience.
If you look at my house, I've had 9.
I figured out why you got all that stuff.
Alright.
I'll talk to you about that sometime. I know.
All right, well. And maybe Roger's got other good interests,
Right.
not that I've heard.
Yeah,
He said he had one in town, he told me yesterday morning, but it was like, they don't have these qualifications.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same person.
So,
But it's someone who lives in town.
which is
and
awesome, I love
Would
that.
maybe be
I
interested.
mean, that's great. But, 'cause,
Moving on. What else? Moving on, 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 moving on We have a donation to accept for the fire department.
I have a question, where does that money go to?
I think the general fund.
General fund?
I talked to Roger about this and I think Roger has told
I
people.
was actually there when that came.
It's really clumsy if there's not already a specific fund set up
Right,
to
that's what I
donate money to
remember.
the town, because if you really take it to a nonprofit, you should probably take your money to a nonprofit.
We actually told them.
Yeah, no, this isn't the first time, people take,
It's the
they say,
same
we
kind.
wanna make a donation to the town, and we say, you know, that particular cause that you're wanting to support, there's no real funding mechanism to accept the money and have.
Well, what do you have to do, set up a revolving account for the fire department?
Basically, or like a gifts fund or something, but it's happened so infrequently. And we're not really
The
set up
amounts
to,
aren't big enough that it's been worth it. Like,
we're not set up to be a
$150,
philanthropy.
yeah, $150 donation a year, creating an entire account for it. I mean, I think we had a couple for the police department.
Police department might be different, and we've gotten a lot for the police department over the years, and I think there may be something set up such as a gifts fund.
Mhm.
But really, in general, particularly with fire, library, community center, there are relevant nonprofits. If you really support the cause,
Go to the non.
then go to the nonprofit. I think really, and not to turn down generosity,
Yeah, right.
which is what it sounds like we're doing, but just to say we don't have a great mechanism to do that. We're not a nonprofit, we're not a fundraising organization in that
We're
way.
a taxing organization.
We're a taxing organization. So, that said, I think we should accept that.
Okay, make a motion that we accept the donation, $50 donation to the
Second.
fire department.
All right, we'll call a vote.
Yes,
Yes.
and thank you for your generosity.
Cool.
Mr. Kuhn?
Do they get a thank you letter?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
It would be good.
It would be a nice gesture, just a casual, handwritten thing, just somebody say, you know, thank you so much for the generously, thinking of us, or whatever.
Thank you, Susan. I don't think that we have any policies or procedures to approve tonight, but I did get back to Sean about the Kelly days and vacation, sick time, and just said that we would like to start backfilling the per diems.
and what it says with that.
I didn't hear back from him, but I think it's, 2 days ago or yesterday.
I did tell them that I reached out to them and said, just today, so I haven't heard back. Actually, I did hear back, but we have to work it out to meet with them to start talking about whatever policies they've gotten in place and that.
Yeah, and I wrote
Maybe
Chris
just
today, about getting I've entered a lot of the statistics on the runs, and then, I talked to Roger about getting the general ledger, we're 2 months into it, we don't know where we are versus budget for the department. And, so Roger, that's part of the discussion on Thursday morning with Roger. And then I sent Chris a note back, like to meet late next week or the first part of the following week. That way, if I can get the general ledger and start putting the numbers together, this is what we're budgeted for, this is where the expense are this time. So I'll let you keep you updated.
And basically, you're focusing on the staffing.
Staff,
Well, because we're already keeping track of other expenses for the building, but this is specifically for staffing.
yeah, this is, staffing and the operating budget.
Okay.
And just a couple of numbers that I came up with, I might have shared some of these last week, but I think some of them are new. For Kelly days, backfilling with per diems rather than,
What do you mean backfilling means to me in the past? You mean,
No,
backfilling
backfilling,
with,
when someone's away, you use per diem
okay.
versus overtime.
that saves $21,000 a year.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was just the word,
Yeah.
because backfilling meant to me to do it retro.
Yeah.
That wasn't what you meant.
And
But it's
then,
okay.
but one more thing. So for vacation days, backfilling with per diems saves, depending on who else would have covered the trip, between $7,000 to $12,000. So when you combine
The
Kelly days and vacation days, it's about $30,000 a year.
We're
And
gonna
then
have to get.
that's not including sick time.
Right.
So I said, kind of across the board, we really wanna prioritize backfilling with per diems.
And I think we did talk about that repeatedly during the whole budgeting process. And the main concern that gets repeatedly raised is whether or not they need it. And I guess it's not,
Well,
like, it's easier, like, a lot of times, I guess, when you have a really big department, they can fill with their own people, but I don't know that they're gonna get enough per diems to do it. It was always my understanding that they were gonna try, but I think the concern may be whether or not they can.
Okay, well, I mean, to me, it's a work in progress,
Yeah.
you know, that we started. The other issue I'm gonna ask Roger to do, if you look at like our 2-week payroll, you know, they got the department, like DPW, the different level people in there.
Mhm.
And for fire, it's just one lump sum number.
Mhm.
And I think that we need to break it down.
For next year, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know if we can change that now. I'm gonna bring it up to Roger.
Well, what I told Roger was that back when we did timesheets by hand, you could actually look at everyone's hours, and it was very helpful for reviewing. And then there were, in a lot of ways, there were a lot fewer mistakes. And now that we do our timesheets the way that we do them, when we first started doing it this way, we would get this long report that was kind of really hard to decipher about hours and such. And then we switched to like a more sleek one where you got a lot less information to the point where none of the information was really helpful. So then we started getting not really any backup information. What I asked for Roger is, can I just be able to log in and see everything?
Well,
if-
you know, Harper's,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
so if you'd like to, and if you'd all like to, I think that would be really the right way to do it. Because otherwise we're signing payroll warrants and we
yeah,
don't
but I
really
mean,
know.
if you look at some of the payroll, my concern is, you look at some of the 2-week period, you know, it's $3,000 higher than it was 2 weeks before. Okay, what's the reason for it? And we're gonna get 3, 4, 6 months out and say, oh, poop, we got a problem. And that's why I'm trying to get the, you know, Roger and I are gonna meet, and I gotta get in front of the numbers. Because I want to, by the time we finish the first quarter of the financial, we'll have all the runs, because I got them all in a spreadsheet, you know, and then, so by October.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to get the numbers. So I want to get all the numbers in there and understand them. Where are we spending money?
Yeah.
Because if,
Exactly.
you know, I'm not going back to the town and ask for more money.
And
because
how
we're-
many empty shifts, whether they're vacation or
We got that, but.
whatever, are being filled by per diems, and
Well, I
what is
did-
all the money spending, and how many people are actually picking up per diem,
So I did also ask for a calendar basically each month of what is the plan?
right?
And then kind of at the end of the month, we couldn't find a per diem for that one, so so-and-so worked. Or
Right.
like a plan at the beginning and a plan at the end. And Sean said it's gonna be kind of hard to do that, but if you all would also, what's that? Excuse me.
Minimally.
Would be-
I'm not accepting those excuses.
So I think if we, second, when you meet, right, say, that would actually be really helpful to get a sense of where we are.
But this is what I told, you know, I met with Chris, and I've had good meetings with Sean, and I've had good meetings with Chris. I told Chris a week ago Saturday, oh, look, we got all these numbers to track. I said, it's new, we have to track everything, so you understand it. Does that mean we do it a year from now? We learned something, but you can't leave something out and say, oh, I can't do it. And like, you know,
Better to
I
start
get
now and
very
figure out
anal
what
on
you
this stuff.
didn't
is
get.
I wanna know what it costs per month when we leave the building. Because if we're gonna do, you know, you look at the, I won't get into the run information, we're spending a lot of money, and if we're spending a high percentage going to other towns, should, you know, what's the cost? So, I'm focused, you know, Roger and I talked for a while, we're gonna meet Monday morning at 8, and we're gonna, you know, I just need him to help me get the sheets, and I'll get it in the spreadsheets. Chris gave me all the run information, I got all that done now, so now I'm concentrating on financials and comparing it to the budget.
I think the easiest way to get more insight on the payroll is just gonna be if we can all get accounts to view in Harper's.
Okay,
I think the hard part is there's no one set up like that now. You can either, like Roger could go in and manage anyone's,
right.
he's an administrator, but I'm not sure, and I've asked him, and he was gonna start looking into it, can we get basically the same,
A viewing, what
Viewing?
is it possible
The
to
other
do viewing,
thing,
but not
I'll bring up
administrator?
to him often that you can get them to write a report, a custom report, you pay for it.
The question is,
Yeah.
what he was saying before is it's been hard to get reports that were
So-
useful in the right
Yeah,
way.
the first reports we had would almost have like every clock in and clock out, and it was very
Yeah, but-
clumsy. And then it went to just, okay, Highway 4 worked 40 hours, and it was like, well, when? And we had a holiday, and was some of that holiday, and
But let me get with Roger, because he comes from an IT background, but my experience with like payroll companies that do this, if you can really define what fields, because everything's in a field.
What field you want?
What fields you want, and you can do it.
Okay.
I have no problem doing that, because, you know, my position is, you know, Sean and Chris, you know, they're a payroll employee now, and they've got to underline, there's a financial part over here they gotta look at. You can't look at it in 4 months and 5 months and say, oh, we got a problem, you know, how are we gonna do this? We gotta know month to month, particularly when something's so new.
And better to catch mistakes earlier. so
Well,
that
yeah.
You don't
And
repeat
two
them.
is having, I've told them, they're probably tired of it, there's gotta be complete transparency. And that's the only way we're gonna do it.
So,
So, we'll find.
there's two more things I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page that I emailed to Sean and Chris. I said that we had,
can you send me a copy of the email?
Yeah.
That'd be
and
great.
what was the email you asked for earlier that I didn't
If you
send?
want, I will send you what I sent, I'll send you what I sent Chris today,
Dang, I don't remember.
you know.
It was the New Marlboro Highway.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You want to see, I don't offer any, I just, you want me to send you what I sent Chris?
Sure.
I said that our understanding of the vacation was, son of a gun, this computer or the Wi-Fi, something. It's not working.
I have been having so many issues today. Sorry about it.
I said that our understanding of the vacation was 192 hours per year for the fire chief, 144 hours per year for the deputy fire chief, 96 hours per year for the firefighter EMT position, and that there's no accrual beyond that, we just front load it and then calculate it out by hand, rather than accruing 4 hours a month.
But then it
And-
has to be a different rate of accrual for each employee, which is,
Well, we could, the other option is, we could just say, 144 hours per year is 12 hours a month,
right,
right? 12 times 12 is 144. So we could just accrue it, or maybe we could front load half of it and then accrue it at whatever.
6 hours a month.
So whatever,
We could,
the options are
either,
kind of endless,
Right. but we should have a plan. It should either all be front loaded, or if they prefer to front load a certain amount and then divide it, but it's a different amount for each person because they have a different amount of vacation.
And then I just also thought about the holidays, because the way it was worded was triple pay for holidays. And I think it's supposed to be double,
Double.
It's double.
but the way that it was worded in
What was worded?
in the payroll sheet that we received about a month ago when we met with them, they
Alright,
said, when you work a holiday,
right.
put in, if your normal rate is 30 per hour,
Right.
put in 60 per hour for those 12 hours.
Right,
But your first pay is already included in your base salary.
right. So it's a
So it should
misunderstanding
just
how
be-
the system works. Yes.
But if that misunderstanding continues for,
No, I'm not
then it's-
suggesting that we not fix it.
Yeah.
Do not misunderstand. But like, this sort of thing has been a big problem with the Harper system before.
and just coming up with a protocol.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
I think I
exactly.
forwarded that, and let me just forward that other thing about CDL from New Marlboro before I forget.
That's why I sent the email to Roger right when you asked me to, so I didn't have to worry about it.
Moving on. Cultural Council appointment, Jeff Zimmerman.
We had someone else request.
We did, be not in time for this agenda, but probably for next.
Yeah, 'cause that's, and if you look I looked on the webpage, I think they had till September 17th or something.
Well, that's for when the applications for the funds open.
Uh-huh.
So right now we have 5 members, and I think we're supposed to have 7. And they can only serve 2 3-year terms, and that's, I think, even Mass General law. Because the group's purpose is basically giving away money, so they don't want you to.
Hot in your way, right? I assume an endless.
So-
People interested in doing these things.
There's 6 people on the website, but I know that one of them is expired and doesn't wanna do it anymore. So we really have 5. If Jeff wants to do it and the other person wants to do it, we're
Oh, so we should address that next week.
the next one.
Yeah. no.
Yes. And they asked for a 2-year appointment, but I think what we're really gonna say is it's a 3-year appointment because you can only do it twice. And so if you start, that gets funky.
Yeah, it does.
Mhm.
So
Okay. I
Jeff should be
nominate-
appointed through June 30th of 28.
Okay, so I'd like to nominate Jeff Zimmerman for the cultural council through June 2028.
I second the motion.
Any other discussion? Call vote?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Jeff. And next week we have one more. It's awesome that Maggie's recruiting for these positions because that doesn't always happen, and then all of a sudden we only have a few people.
Yeah.
He's out there talking about it.
The building commissioner has requested an alternate building inspector. And I believe that Don Fitzgerald is one of that joint towns,
Oh, yeah,
building commissioners, because I think I saw him that he was in Lennox.
yeah, I think it's Stockbridge.
Yeah, but he's on the Lennox website as the shared building inspections department
Okay,
building inspector. That was back when it was in Lennox, so I don't know.
right,
Does that is active, but, he would be an alternate in the case that Don has a conflict of interest or is on vacation or whatever reasons Don might need.
I'll
And I would go through June 30th of 27.
second it.
Any other discussion before we vote on Don as the alternate building inspector? All right, we'll call a vote.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, the motion carries unanimously. And he'll be an alternate appointed through June 30th, 2027. Next item of business is the Lombardo Park mission. Any,
it said review trees and pavilion funding,
oh, we did that
Oh,
with
we did that,
this at the
right,
beginning.
Lombardo Park, yeah, I had a couple of.
I have a,
Let me pull, did you do a track change or should I pull my own version of that?
I
did that right
did
there.
track changes, but it's a comment more than an actual suggested
All right,
change.
then well, I don't know, if I can find it. Okay, here it is.
I really feel that comment. Under plan for implementation and funding, I sort of feel like the way we had discussed it previously, we thought it was gonna be important for them to work with a site planner.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's a little buried. Right,
Yeah.
like prepare if necessary to request funding such as engineering, site planning, or landscape design. And I sort of feel like we might wanna front load the site planning.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure that, I feel like it maybe should be the first bullet, like discuss hiring a site planner to help with the process. I don't know at what
I
point.
think maybe it doesn't come in first in those steps, because
Right.
reviewing background materials, evaluate considerations is something that will always come into play. But I think the groups should first, people who are in the group should first really look at
Review back, I mean,
those other,
no, I meant under 5, instead of plan for implementation funding, instead of
Yeah.
burying it inside the third
Yeah.
bullet, give it its own bullet and put it first.
gotcha.
I mean, yes, they then need to request funding for it, so you can leave it that as it is, but
Yeah.
just forefront say, consider hiring a site planner. Let's just point out to them that this is an option they have right out.
That might be good on number 3, like, after the 2 kind of consider background information before engage the public.
Yep,
Something like
that's a practical consideration, yeah.
consider options for hiring consultants, is that the one?
I would even say, a site planner. Because it's a very specific thing, it's not just a general consultant we're talking about, we're talking about someone to help them think through planning a park.
Yeah,
What can it be used for? What's the best use for the town? And someone that spends all their time doing that is gonna think of things that we might not.
yeah.
We may not agree with them, so we don't have to do it just because they suggest it, but.
So what I wrote as a bullet was review options for engaging professional services such as engineering, site planning, or landscape design.
Can you put site planning first?
Site planning, engineering, or landscape design.
Because you're not gonna hire an engineer or a landscape designer until you've made a plan.
I mean, I'm not familiar with the field.
Right, so literally, that person's job is to help you figure out what you wanna do with that site. Like, you gotta do that first, because engineering, you engineer a specific
Yeah,
thing,
you're not building a
right? Once
building,
you've
you're not-
decided what you're gonna build, then you hire an engineer to help you build it. And if you're gonna have gardens, and you know what you wanna do, you hire a landscape designer to help you landscape it.
Mhm.
But you can't do that until you decide what the heck you wanna do with your site. So to me, that one has to come first.
I think, let's say they got a really clear picture, the public's on board, right? And it's something simple like, we're gonna have the highway department kind of fill in the foundations and we're gonna have a small parking lot and mow the field a couple times a year, but it's mostly gonna be like a preserve, right? Like, in theory, right?
Then they
And
might not need
They
that.
might not need a site plan. What they may always need, maybe, is an engineer, but maybe they don't even need an engineer. I'm just,
And you know what, if
Yeah.
they don't end up needing the site planner, that's
Yeah.
fine, but my point is, I want them to think about the possibility of getting help deciding what to do with it, not how to do it.
Yeah.
Like, yes, once you decide what to do, then you can decide how to get help with doing it. But the site planner is, the purpose of that person is to help you decide what to do with the site. And that might even be, make it be a preserve.
Mhm.
And maybe they'll decide they don't need one, but I want them to think about that as being an
Right,
option, right?
Any comments from Mickey?
You're the public now, maybe.
I guess I was gonna ask, can I see the word here? We're thinking of Betsy Andrews for one of the members of this committee. She was very positive about it, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be possibly a conflict of interest if you're a direct abutter to the property.
Yeah, I tell you,
Particularly if you have
that's
an
when I
easement
saw
for the
the
property.
abutters there, I'm going like.
But what I do, when I was drafting, I did particularly put in assess the impact of proposed property uses on abutters, because not only are they abutters, it's not like they're,
They have a right of
they
way.
happen to be, down the street and there's a tree line before, it's like they have a right of way through the property.
Yeah.
So maybe it should say assess the impact of proposed property uses on easement
Yeah,
holders or something.
maybe it's, as I said, abutters, easement holders, abutters. There are abutters that aren't easement holders, and there are abutters that are.
Yeah.
I love having a daughter.
Yeah.
They're going to look at an apartment, and as a backup, because they're careful, they just texted me the name of the person they're meeting and the address of the apartment. And I appreciate that.
This is your daughter?
Share location.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Something we didn't have when we were kids, but I'm sure my mother would have loved. I know. We had dial phones. I remember when the first push button phones came out, man.
remember when you used to have to share a home?
And when we moved from the store to down the road here, there was a phone with a dial, and my son wanted to know what the heck that, he stood on the, there was a stool underneath it, he stood, Scott, stands on the thing, and he's, what's that? I looked at George, and what have we done to our children? They don't recognize the phone. You know, they were just used to the pick up and get, you know.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, well, we
I
made
know,
those
it's
changes.
surrounded by-
The only thing I thought about is on the timeline, consulting the property by 2026. Are you talking the financial year 2026, or are you talking the calendar year? Because if there's someone comes on here, I didn't.
2026 annual town meeting, so that would be.
Well, you committee complete professional.
Yeah, wait, that timeline
I was
is
just gonna
very
say,
quick.
and it really is, and if
I
you're gonna
reflected.
consider hiring a site planner, and we have to have
Yeah.
money in the budget, for
So you would, it
2026.
could be 26, 27 budget.
yeah.
Well, so I think what I probably meant when I wrote this up this morning was
That's the only question. I thought you did a
End
good
of-
job,
was-
so I'm not complaining.
end
Yeah.
of year.
But
But now I'm wondering, if we get money in May, it isn't really available till July.
And then you'd have to first find the person, or you maybe
Yeah.
look for them before
Or,
then,
yeah, you
and,
can bring them
right.
in and do presentations.
but even so, they couldn't really start work till July, and it's not that big a
I'm
property.
not
so-
anticipating a ton of work either, right?
Yeah.
Like filling in some foundations. The problem is this permitting.
Yeah,
Anything that's near either the lakefront
right,
or the river is gonna need permitting.
Yep.
So,
Can we do it in the middle of the night? No.
bulldoze a sucker.
okay.
It's like, I like it.
That was a joke.
I know, it's- of course it was a joke, oh my god. But like, you could idea.
Okay.
Snooze, you lose.
Um,
Hey, there's all those abutters, they're gonna hear the equipment.
Oh, they might be happy. It'll be over.
Moving on. I do
Instead of having a
think
concrete
we-
pad, they could have wildflowers.
So what if we said, and I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but what if the committee shall aim to complete any professional consulting on the property by 2027?
Yeah,
And any work on the property by 2028?
Yeah, I would do
I
that.
just don't want it kicking,
Wait, yeah, I think you gotta set that up too, yeah.
and
You
maybe,
gotta, once, get their
you
momentum.
wanna make it December 30, 2028, or something?
Yeah. Why did I say September?
Because with September
You know
now,
what,
and that
though,
would be.
by the time, look, we're not gonna say it's 2028, you're fired. But I think just to give them some sense of,
What the time.
we are
I do
expecting
think
this to
you're-
take a couple of years.
Right,
But by September 30th, 2028 would already mean we've gone 1 summer of owning it, 2 summers of owning it, 3, 4 summers of owning it, 5, 6,
we're
7,
counting
8.
2025.
4
6,
summer
7, 8,
of owning
right.
it, and people still can't
Use it,
use it.
Or
right.
know the use of it.
What?
Or know the use of it.
Well,
Yes.
You can say, here's the plan, but we gotta stretch it out or get grants, so it does it, but it's just not, some.
I think that's, we're talking
Yeah.
about 3 whole summers.
That's fair,
Let's say that's,
that's
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
Okay,
Okay.
so are we leaving with it no later than September 30, 2028?
the other thing I wanna add is, and I should have done this earlier, but oversight of the property will be transferred to the Parks Commission, and that's really contingent on town meeting vote. Like, we can't transfer it to the Parks Commission.
Wait, where,
Only
that's
town
not
meeting
an
can move it.
oversight, where is that? Time for.
And within the
Yeah, yeah.
timeline paragraph, and I think,
It does say include preparing for vote at future town meeting.
yes, but what I wanted to say was there, on September 30th, 2028, I don't wanna give anyone the wrong idea. It's not like then
Gotcha,
it goes to
right,
Parks.
So what did you say, contingent upon,
Contingent on
Oh,
town
town
meeting.
meeting, yeah. alright. Yeah, the
Oh,
timeline.
membership too, I thought select board, parks, council on aging, and then Lake Buell.
Those are the 4 we mentioned last week, yeah. And then,
There's someone on the council on aging who's also on Lake Buell.
but
That
it
might
wouldn't
kind
be
of
bad to have 2 different people.
Yeah, I agree with that. Can't penalize them.
No,
No.
you don't get to serve with both hats, even if you have both hats. Okay, otherwise I thought you did a great job.
I thought you did a great job too.
Alright, well, we'll put it in the Monterey News. Woot. And in all the places. And you know what else? Even if people don't want to be on the committee, or we get more interest than there are slots, at least people know that now there's an opportunity to make public input.
Yeah, I was gonna say, then maybe they'll, I mean, people can go to the meetings, they'll go to the meetings.
I'm really glad we're doing this, because otherwise it's all on us.
Yeah.
It's easy to push it to the back burner when it's.
Plus, there's a bunch of people that are super interested, let them use that energy in a productive way for the town, why not?
There's a citizen email about Fiber Connect. This is not the first time we've heard
Yeah.
this kind of issue, but I think they bring up at least one really good point, and I don't know how other utility companies handle this.
Which point?
If they're here for a few months in the summer, but they don't wanna pay year round.
So my first question is, do we have any, I don't feel like we have any jurisdiction or lever, I'm not disagreeing with them. I just don't know if we have a role to play.
We have so kind of know, and I agree with you, but also they're a utility company that now basically has a monopoly,
Yep.
basically. And the town has the contract with them that we negotiated. That was a lot about setting it up. But we could do further contract negotiations. I mean, there's currently the discount, which I think was required by the contract, is for low income.
Right.
Well, I think I have a couple thoughts too. I've had it 7 years, the cost is not going up over $99. Two is if you discount the summer users, that means the chances are the rates are really gonna go up on the people who live here full time. Now, I've seen, I know people with beach houses, and like Verizon would let them factor down their services. But it was a minimum, I don't remember.
You can turn it off. You can turn your electricity off.
Yeah,
You can.
yeah, you can turn the cable
Although
off,
it's
but
usually not a good idea.
but you see, the one thing the installation charge, I don't know what it was like there, but $500 installation sounded high.
No, that's normal.
I
I
know,
think
but
it's
when you
usually
get in
1,000.
other places, it's,
It depends on how far you are from the truck line.
But I think that's the bare minimum.
it's fine.
I
It
think
was-
it used to be 1,000.
It
bare
was
minimum.
1,000, we were one of the first houses, cause it came from
Yeah.
Otis direction, and it was $1,000.
But you say that 500
Is lower, that's half.
is high.
Yeah.
It's,
You're saying
well, it's
that it's
high
lower or
compared
high?
to what you would find in the metropolitan.
Yeah, like
area.
Spectrum over in New Marlboro.
Yeah,
It is.
And I think that was one of their points they made, is their New Marlboro neighbors feet away.
yeah, but the other thing is, there could be, how good is the Spectrum service?
No, but what Fiber Connect always says, frankly, is that their internet is just so much faster, it's not a comparison. However, how many
There's
people
so
are
much-
really taking advantage of that?
Anyone who streams.
No, not streaming. But Spectrum is more than good enough to watch Netflix.
Okay,
It's when you are like downloading huge files.
right.
If you're a data person, photographer, maybe if you're gaming, video gaming, I mean, it's, once you reach a certain threshold, and you can watch YouTube or Netflix, let alone sending emails, like, the average user, I think, really doesn't benefit from the incredibly high speed. Some people really do and they love it, but
The majority don't.
the
yeah,
majority
but I
don't.
can tell you, like, July 4th weekend, I think there was 13 people, and because now the kids are teenagers.
Yeah, they're probably all streaming at the same
They were all
time.
streaming at the same time,
Yeah.
I looked around the room, everybody's watching something different,
Right.
I'm just looking at the.
Also, I will say, like, the lower cost for Spectrum, the girls were, they were supposed to get that apartment, so they were filling out an application for
Mhm.
Spectrum. And they fool you, if you go to the original page, it says they have these like low cost things. Turns out, no one I know would have, like, my daughter isn't even employed and she didn't qualify,
Mhm.
right? So it was $100, the same $100, or like 99, same. I think it might have been 89, but they were gonna put $10 a month to rent the machine. So guess what? That's 99.
Yeah.
Right,
That's
Um,
exactly.
so it's totally a racket, and the promo page says it's like as low as 35 a month,
Yeah.
but you can't actually get, only in some communities. And but if Pittsfield isn't one of those communities, so like, I don't know if it really is cheaper in New Marlboro or not.
No, I mean, not to say that the big utility companies don't upcharge and have hidden
Mhm,
fees, they
right.
do. I think $100 a month is still high for internet, for just internet,
Right, but that's what they were gonna have to pay in Pittsfield.
for
Spectrum.
Spectrum.
Just internet. And a lot of the cable companies have gotten out of that whole,
And Spectrum is a monopoly there,
uh,
so
the one person I know in Mill River with Spectrum says it's been up and down.
although my friend who's been living in Pittsfield for years says he likes Spectrum only because they're so much better than the people they took over from, and now I'm trying to remember what they're not around anymore, but, Time Warner, he said Time Warner was a disaster. They actually lost internet service for 2 months once, and it wasn't just him, like the neighborhood, and they just didn't fix it.
I don't know if there's anything we can do, if there's anything we wanna do.
I mean, we could
I
ask,
will say, I don't think many people would take them up on the shutting it off for the winter, because really it's not the 1960s or 70s. Most people's houses are winterized and they come up to go skiing.
yeah.
There's only a few people, I mean, I have neighbors, they come up from June to September. And then they legitimately, they live in Baltimore and they are not up, they close the house down from October until May. And for people like that,
We had a lot of those in Otis Woodlands too.
I mean, but
I think that was
if
the
you were
old school
like
way
that,
of doing it, but I don't think that many people really do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still doing it, I just haven't been here.
It
for
probably
20 years.
depends on where they live the rest of the time.
But a lot of them, I would say they sold New York. So they used to be like New York, Otis, and Florida, all three of them, and then they would sell New York so that they were only in here or there.
Right.
And there was no
In between.
coming up in between.
But yes or no, I mean, it comes down to, I guess his model is not to do that. And
And
the
he,
question is, do we have any leverage to,
But I think you
Should
gotta
we do
be
it?
careful of your leverage, because
I agree.
if you, X amount of people say, well, we want cut out for 6 months.
It puts his costs up, and so.
So he's
stuff
gonna-
gets spread across, right?
He's gotta maintain a margin, so
Yeah.
that someone else is gonna pay for it.
and they are regulated because they have monopolies to some degree.
And
I don't know exactly how that all works. Where did it just say 100? Pricing
What's this one?
now residential,
Oh, this is Fiber Connect?
yeah,
Well,
now it's saying 199.
Two is, you may.
$199 a month?
No, install.
Oh, install. I
But
mean, I
the
think it must
other-
have gotten
he's
cheaper.
gone to other jurisdictions, right?
Yeah,
Is he been?
I mean, I think they're done installing the lines here sometime.
A year ago.
Except,
But I think he's in Housatonic or one.
He has little networks, like there's one in New Marlboro
Yeah.
and like Egremont, right? They do Egremont's whole town, I believe. But I don't get the sense that they're growing and growing and growing. I think they kind of have,
I think it's targeted growth where he can get in and do, he's.
and I think that's part of the problem is they're gonna say, well, look, we built our business model on X number of houses in Monterey, and now if you're saying, even if it's a small percent, 2% of them only wanna pay 3 months a year, that's probably not gonna fly.
I mean, I think it's worth having a conversation with Adam, but we're not in a position to tell him if it's under contract. what he wants.
When you ask the question and he says no because of course, and then that you tell the people, we have approached him and it doesn't fit his business model or whatever.
Well, I'm trying to remember too, looking through the contract, how long it comes into play.
But we just did the contract last year with him.
No, 2020. We had to do checkpoints afterwards to say, okay, Adam said he did this, okay, yes, he did, and then he would get reimbursements from the state, is how I understand it. At least for 10 years, if there shall be a proposed merger, sale, or transfer of the company, it would require approval from the town.
He has good service.
I don't know if 10 years is a common thing. It's been a while since I've been looked at this contract closely. I forget if 10 years is, and how long it lasts. And then from there, what restrictions are regulated by the government? Because they're a utility company. Okay. There's no town administrator, okay, because Roger's not here.
Great.
Notes, because Roger's one of the minutes.
Yeah. That said, could we do a little bit of unanticipated business? Can we schedule, and we can't talk about the purpose of the executive session in this open meeting, but could we schedule one for 5:30 next week?
Yeah, I can do that.
5:30 next week?
5:30 Tuesday,
Tuesday.
yes.
And then we'd probably do some regular agenda items afterward. Any other unanticipated?
So just so you know, this is the address, like, not that it's relevant, but this is the address that they're looking at now, right? So you see how it says that? You can't actually get it. It's not actually available when you delve deeper. They pretend like it is. So anyone who went and look, you could get it there for only $30 a month. And that doesn't include the equipment, which you then have to rent for an upcharge. So I'm just saying, like, this is a typical thing where they're thinking they're getting this terrible deal, but the reality is it was gonna be about $100 a month for them, to just get internet, so. And in the end, they figured the extra $20 to get the jig was worth it for them, like, to go from the 50 to the 70, but that's not really. Oh, and if you pay the upcharge, you don't have to rent the equipment, it's included, so you're really paying the upcharge anyway, like, it is ridiculous. Yeah, whatever, I'm just, it really is, it's such a. Okay, anyway.
Alright.
So I don't have any other updates.
I said everything I had to say.
Do you want me to start putting the handbook back on agendas?
I was just thinking about that today. Oh, wait, I do have an update. So Roger and I have been looking at transfer station costs, particularly because there was the recycling markets have tanked. So it's started, not only did the cost of transport go up hugely, so we're paying over $600 a load for recycling. Which is like more than $200 a load more, because it's further, but it's a lot, right? And it's now costing us more to take the recyclables than it would to send municipal solid waste, which I personally think is outrageous.
Didn't it used to be free to bring them? Like, the transport costs money, but disposal?
So it depends on the market price. So there was a period of time years ago when we actually got money back from them.
Yeah.
Because the market was so high that they would pay us to deliver them. But what's happened is then like, so there's an offset. They depends on what they get for the materials, and that bounces back to us, but now it's more expensive because they have to run the plant. But the markets have tanked for a whole bunch of complicated reasons that I don't, if you really wanna know, we can talk about it afterwards. But, it's complicated and I have my doubts.
I'm
but the
glad you
bottom
know
line is,
Well,
yeah,
I
the
can't
bottom
sweep,
line is,
I can't sweep up all you too.
yeah, exactly. The bottom line is, it's more expensive. So I had a meeting today with, Janamine, who runs the Franklin County
FCAR
Pardon?
FERCog,
What's for?
Franklin Regional County of Governments.
No, it's the Franklin Waste Management District,
Mhm.
Franklin County Waste Management District, whatever. It's like 18 towns. So she knows a lot and she runs a lot of stuff. She's part of the municipal advisory board. And, Ruby, whose last name I should know, who is the representative for Great Barrington. She's a retired pediatrician. Who's very interested in solid waste. And Susan Waite from the DP, who's our municipal, the person we go to for help with DP regarding solid waste. And talked about different options. So I'm gonna talk to Roger. One thing that Susan mentioned, and actually Gary had mentioned, is that Otis seems to be paying a lot less for their shipping. And I'm sorry that 8 fewer miles doesn't seem like it would
With
count
Roger?
for that.
Or with.
I don't know who they have doing their shipping, and I don't even know if they have someone different doing the recyclables than doing their MSW. But it's on my agenda to call both New Marlboro and Otis to talk about what they're doing, and various options, including, do we wanna talk, I at least think we should talk to Roger about how we could bring the cost down, and some ideas Jen had, and whether or not it'd be worth looking in future years as another hauler, USA, who's interested in getting into the Berkshires, like, there's a bunch of possibilities of things we could maybe do. That I think are worth looking into, some of which would require cooperating with other towns, like, we can do it ourselves and have a swap box. Basically, you have an extra container, so that instead of Roger having to come, pick up the container, drive it to Springfield, drive the empty container back and drop it off, he can come in with the empty container, drop it off, pick it up the full one, go, and then go where.
Which they already do for certain things.
But I guess you have to have an extra, you have to
You have to
pay
have
for an
a-
extra
yeah,
box,
it's a
you either
box.
have to rent an extra box or you have to buy
Right,
it.
if you're gonna do that long term, it's better to buy it.
I mean, it
For,
would,
for just bottles and cans?
this would be for probably, yeah, because the other one has the compactor. And then you.
But I've seen Roger come, and they come with a container, and they put it aside, and then they pick up the other one and put it aside, and put the old one.
For
put the empty
recyclables.
one. I don't know for what.
Okay. Cause I think we do have an extra bin for MSW.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure if we have one, and
And
maybe
we
that's why
rent
it's
the
so much
containers,
cheaper,
right?
right?
We rent it.
I think we own the compactor, but rent the container, I'm not sure.
I think we rent.
We rent them,
We
we
have a
talked at
rental
one
fee,
time
so that's
about
for sure.
buying some of them.
We were gonna buy, we used to own the compactor, and I'm not sure that we own both compactors now. We owned one and we rented the other, and then there was the whole thing with Casella tearing it
Well,
up
they
because they
tore
wouldn't
up their
sell it to
own,
us.
they tore up their own.
Yeah, because they wouldn't sell it to us, and then we had started renting it from Roger, and our original plan was to buy it, but somehow that
Yeah.
didn't happen. Like buy it on the installment plan or something. But anyway, so I'm gonna talk to Roger and I'm gonna see if we can talk to Roger Trucking and maybe talk to
I
some of
would
the
also
towns
ask the
see
Roger
what
if
their
we're
options-
leasing a lease purchase program.
right, for the container.
So-
But the question is, are we doing swapping? Would that change our price? What would it cost to have more containers? Should we be, another option is for Franklin, they're doing dual hauling. Because I guess at one point she noticed that the haulers were actually doing two
Yeah,
on a
too,
haul.
yeah,
And she's like, wait a minute, if you guys are doing this anyway, how about we just do that on purpose?
Two.
And they take two
Two.
bins.
two trailers.
Right.
It's one's attached to the truck, and
And,
then the other's a trailer.
and it brought the price down a whole bunch, but that only works if you have enough room to store extra and have extra
Right.
bins.
We might have that. room.
But for all we know, we could team up with one of the other towns and they could swing by and pick up both bins, like, I don't know. There are other economies of scale or other working relationships might be possible, but we can't do that unless we talk to people about
Mhm.
whether they're interested in trying to do it. And whether it's logistically feasible,
Mhm.
but I just wanted you guys to know that this is the thing that's happening and we're working on.
It's so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
So should I add employee handbook things and then?
But why don't we work on the fire department?
Yeah, let me work on the.
I think what's
fire
hard,
department
what's
salary.
hard for
I
me
know we
is
need
I've
to
been
finish
talking
that
to
one
people.
day thing.
I've been talking to people like, oh, you should work for the town and, we'll pay for part or all of the CDL and I think we're offering 2 weeks vacation at the start.
We passed that policy.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're meeting like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Like, whether it's in the hammock or not, we passed
But
that
I think,
policy.
but I think it'd be nice to just be like, here's the
Yes,
handbook.
at the very least, it would be nice.
How about I
to
just put it on
do
the
that one.
agendas and then if you have questions for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Then,
Let me see if I can at least,
It's
I
there.
would like to finalize that one piece if nothing else, like holiday vacation,
Yeah.
that one.
but then it's there and we can talk about it and if there's no updates this week. And frankly, I don't know where Frank is at, but I feel very confident in you really taking it and running with it and making decisions. We don't need to sit here
Talk about
and
everything. I never,
The-
I assume we're okay,
the,
like,
like,
it's not a big deal,
Uh,
but
you
there
know,
are some big deals in
there
there.
are some big deals, but just come to us with the big deals, and then at the end, we can do a final review, department heads can do a final review, and then 1 month, then we make any final revisions, approve it, it's done.
I'd like to at least see the holiday pay and vacation and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
That way I can
but
tell
that's
people, I said, I think we're all.
No, it's definitely too, I remember that we passed it in the
Okay.
select board meeting.
And what is sick time, it's 1 hour per 40, or 1 hour, 2,
That's part-time.
okay, full-time 1 hour per 20? That would give you a day per month, which seems
Then
to make
there's like,
sense.
what, 12 holidays?
I thought there was 13 or 14,
I think there's 12.
I thought it was 12.
I think-
including Juneteenth,
Yeah,
because I thought,
I think it was 12 before, now it's added Juneteenth.
this is the wrong thing.
and
Select board. New Year's, Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, Patriots Day, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, Independence Day, Labor Day, Indigenous Peoples' Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, 12.
And all annual work.
What, a question I can answer. Alright, that was holidays.
12.
Then you asked, what, sick time?
Yeah, well, how did they accumulate it for full time?
Yeah.
There's two.
This was one of the weird.
There's,
So for the first 2 years of service, it's for your first 3 years of service, it's 2 weeks. Starting your 4th year of service, it's 3 weeks, and in your 9th year of service, it's 4 weeks. That's all we passed.
okay.
There was all big discussion about how you phrased it, is it 3 years, like how do you phrase that, like, is your 3rd year of service, 2 years. That's why that was highlighted, and then you wanted to know about sick leave, right?
Well, how many days does it end up being per year?
So all full-time employees accumulate 10 hours, 1.25 days per month within each fiscal
For
year.
15 days?
Yep.
15.
3 of which may be used as personal days for a total of 15 a year.
Where our vacation may be a little bit lacking, I think the personal days make up for it, and the 12 holidays make up for it, so. Yeah, because my PTO, in just doing a quick whatever comparison, it's many more days, but it's all holidays are flexible, flex time, whatever you wanna call it. So I use PTO, and now I forget the exact numbers, but it's many more than 2 weeks, it's like 5 weeks or something, but there's none of these.
Okay.
So when I do wanna take Labor Day off, I use one of those days.
Gotcha. So I think it's 12 days.
Pretty well flexible system.
Yeah,
It ends up being similar, but I mean, it's also not in some ways, cause it's animals, so like, someone needs to milk the cows on
Yeah.
Christmas. So it's both flexible and it's not, because,
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
The elf.
so it ends up being 2, 4, 10, 12. So in your first year off, you get 22 paid days off,
If
You
you
can get
actually, if
12
you actually
holidays.
take them off, right,
and
because,
10,
because you get the holidays, and you, right.
and up
well,
to
you get-
15 sick days.
Right.
So up to
Which you can
37,
accumulate up to 90 days if you don't take them.
so up to 37 days off, is that high?
Very high.
I mean, I think typically.
I mean, I know people aren't gonna take them, but
Typically people don't, but I don't know.
You have 15 sick days and that's so generous.
And it's 1 hour
I
sick
can't
time
talk,
for
I
every
just-
30 hours worked for a part-time.
I'm just trying to make some sense of all that. Alright, I got a headache, so. Do you have a comment?
No, I just wanna hear what the sick time is for part-time.
1 hour of sick time for every 30 hours worked,
1 hour
for every 30 hours.
for 30 hours worked.
Part-time employee can earn and use up to 40 hours per calendar year. And it can be carried over up to 40 hours.
Now, are they, so they get 1 hour for every 30 hours, they work 30 hours, so like, if they're only working 12 hours a week, it takes them 3 weeks to get an hour. So they can't accumulate very much.
They accumulate based on their hours worked, yeah. It's actually more generous than,
Yeah, I'm gonna say,
state requires 1 for every 40 hours.
yeah, I'm going to sit down and work out what it is, because,
So that would be, that quick math would give you 17 hours a year. Right? So if you work 12 hours a week,
that gives you a week and a half.
a week and a half. So if you got sick,
Yeah, so what I had, basing it on thinking was that when we had COVID, we needed to take 2 weeks. And 2 weeks would be, let's say, 24 hours.
but do you remember the laws? I believe the laws temporarily changed and you, it
Yeah,
was
but
job
I mean,
protected.
it's just that you could have the flu or something, and 2 weeks is not a unreasonable time. And so I was just trying to think of it that way, rather than thinking of it as, you know, like you just said, you get 17 hours, so that's a week and a half.
Mm.
So, let me think about it a little bit more, because it is something I've been wanting to talk to you about for like 3 years, but.
Yeah. I really understand that. And the worst part is that like at one point I knew all this off the top of my head, but it's been long enough.
It's
now,
been
and I'm
3
like,
years, so we don't know what's going on.
It's the problem with not having just got that sucker done. So, okay,
Alright, good to adjourn?
all right.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Call the vote?
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, meeting adjourned at 7:34 PM.
Shut these windows.
Yeah, now it's cold in here.
Yes, that cold breeze over here for a while. No,
Good thoughts in your mind, oh my God.